All right, my babies and gentlemen. First things first, welcome to the new spot. I think in total, the past 2 years, I have changed one, two, three, four, five, six houses. Well, rooms, because even when I take a house for myself, I end up having a room. Even when I don't take a house for myself, I end up taking a room somewhere. Suffice to say, it's just kind of like me fucking about. But hey, I haven't done this in, I think, 4 months. And let's just talk about that day where I did my last video and what kind of happened a week after and where I am right now. So I think the last video I did, I was kind of like everything's were getting bad when it came to just like whatever was happening down south. People kind of like the genocide that was happening. And then after that, basically the guns were pointed at us. And between, I think it was literally like 3 days where like it was a week where there was just kind of like a massive attack on people that had pagers. And after that, basically, they started bombing the city. It was targeted bombing, but regardless, basically, when that happened, panic kind of rushed over everyone, and I started receiving phone calls from people that don't normally talk to me, which is cute because hey, right? Like the guilt that people feel when something is bad. It's just one of those expressions, basically. Just and always say how you feel, or else you'll feel bad. You'll feel bad about not saying it or something like this. Kind of feel way off having this conversation. But anyways, so when the bombing started, basically my parents started calling me and freaking out, and my dad was worried that the house is going to be basically people are going to get in the house. So I left the apartment that I was in and I went to the house where they live and I stayed there for a couple of months until everything calmed down. Then I found me a new spot. It's practically a story. The reason didn't do videos throughout that time, I don't know if it's exhaustion, if mental exhaustion, or I needed to compartmentalize basically everything I was talking about, which kind of like not put it into action, but give it space to kind of linger. Is the last month of videos I was doing, it felt like my challenge was to reach a certain deadline of like, because like we were targeting, I remember, my goal is still 1,000 videos. But the idea behind it was we were kind of like getting excited every single time we hit a milestone to a point where the goal was milestones and it wasn't really like refreshing stuff in my head. It was more like building on top of creation. As much as I love those videos, I felt burnt out, which kind of like I guess makes sense, but ultimately it's just like every day 2 videos of just me exploring my mind kind of like drove me way too far away from reality. Way too far away from reality, especially when it comes to the people, because like ultimately I'm trying to communicate in the way where I interact and the way I'm establishing myself. And if whoever gave a fuck about me basically could not relate anymore. And so I took the past 4 months to just kind of see the people that stuck around, even though they didn't understand me, and try to just kind of like see them, uh, listen more and talk more to them and see how they're kind of like processing things and what they're going through. And then from there, establishing, like kind of remembering the videos that I talked about stuff, or at the very least, I'd be talking about stuff and then the videos would kind of like pop up. So it was super fun with that. But mainly, I just didn't want to do videos, especially when there was drama, especially with the bombings. And the reason for that is just because I don't want that to be the vibe of the videos that I'm doing because sooner or later it just becomes a political thing. And my goal is to always not give a fuck about that crap because I believe everyone's right to their own view of reality and everyone has the right to do whatever they do even if they're assholes. It's within their right. It's within their kind of prerogative, I guess. But many beautiful things came out of these 4 months. One of which is I finished my website. I literally just like put my head down and just kept coding, 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 coding. In the morning, I'd wake up and I'd write code for the website and try new things. And then after I do that, I go and I talk to people and I show them what I've done and explore. It took a lot of squeezing, but finally the designer was able to kind of like fill the design, finalize the design, and to be able to engage. To I don't know how I feel about the last 3 months of her designing, but it's one of those, I guess, fears slash anxieties where when somebody's actually about to finish something, they're not really comfortable with. They don't want to finish it and let it go because the minute they do, then they automatically are no longer the person that started it. Has it ever happened with any of you? I see that a lot happening with myself, specifically because every day I'm chasing something new. It's a mind-blowing point in awareness because you're always you it's like the journey to like 50% of the work is very easy and it takes a short amount of time, specifically when like you're putting effort into it. But the closer you get to finishing, the closer you realize that you're not actually like you don't see the step afterwards, and that's a surrendering activity of letting go. Because you kind of like if you do it and you fulfill it, then something else will pop up. But then that gap in between is what refines who you have become after the effort has been done. But so I finished the website and it deployed, I think, Christmas 2024, which is funny because I think I was checking it once and I read 1,000 days. I wrote it somewhere. It's 1,000 days, 1,000 lives. 1,000 days, 1,000 nights, 1,000 deaths, 1,000 lives. And the concept behind it is every night you sleep, and when you sleep, you wake up, you're no longer the same person because your mind basically, what for your mind, I love it. Look where I am right now. But your mind, honest, is relaxes when it expresses itself. It kind of like releases stuff, and at night you release stuff, and your lingering consciousness is not really there. So I feel that detachment is kind of like similar to, if you want, we want to consider a mini death, a mini death of us. And when the website was deployed, and I was having a conversation with my dad, I was telling him like I was reading that part of it, 1,000 days, 1,000 nights, 1,000 deaths, 1,000 lives, and the idea behind it is like 1,000 people have interchanged, and then I was looking at the date and I subtracted 1,000 days from it, and it took me back to the day I kind of started. I sat and I was like, "This is the website. Today I'm starting, and I'm installing what I have to install because that's the initiation." It was kind of one of those like cute weird moments once I calculated in a way. So maybe I was off in a couple of days, or maybe I wanted it to fit. I have no idea. But the website was deployed, and when it was done, it felt like I felt lighter because it felt like the entire traction of the work was done. But then I actually went to the people that I was trying to work with early January. I took like a week of just browsing, researching, and just fixing some stuff on the website. I literally worked every day, including New Year's. It was so much fun. It was just wake up, be like, what am I going to do today? But it was done and it was so crappy. So when I showed it to somebody and errors were showing up and down, I was like, ooh, and then I started fixing them, and he got more excited about the project. And I kind of have somebody who's giving me feedback right now, which is like super beautiful, simply because just if I'm not alone. And over the past 3 4 weeks, I have been at a point of frustration. I remember maybe mid-January. I message people and I go like, I built this website. It's supposed to be beautiful, and I have to do more stuff to it, but it's already feeling slow. It's already feeling like it's taking some time. It's already feeling there's a lot of stuff that should be done. So does anybody know this software? And four people responded. One person was kind of excited to just talk about the project instead of tell me that he can do it if I give them money and all that shit. So it was super fun. And And I think officially today is the first time we can sit next to each other and we start working. And over the past week, we have been kind of like just discussing the project and building on top of it. So I have a software engineer right now working with me, and he's a senior at that. Not a senior, he's a backend engineer. So his uh, his mental framework is more backend, which is super cool. We can all build that. And while I'm kind of like starting to focus on like exactly what the people get to see, which is the actual website. So that is allowing me to just I have no idea. It's like I feel that I'm expanding. There's a lot more to do, and the past 4 months have been as beautiful as everything is. And it's my first video since then. I don't want to. I don't know if I'm back or not, but I'm definitely going to be doing at least a video or two, uh, just for the sake of just seeing what those 4 months have brought with them and being able to express them in order to be able to kind of see and reflect on these things. So, such a fucking good feeling having these conversations. Uh, it has been a while, as always. It's a video. Thank you guys. Fucking love you, man.